back to Faith Family Laundry. I'm your host, Aaron, with my lovely wife, Melanie. And thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for joining us, friends.
So, today we wanted to talk about what we're doing wrong while raising our children. So, we'll get right into it. I feel like some things that we do wrong is screen time. When we're out and about, we tend to, when the kids get wild and crazy, hand them our phone. How do you feel about that?
So at the moment, it's like the best thing ever because we're just so fed up. We're trying to focus. Like, for example, we do this for Jaden's game and we need those screens. If not, they will not allow us to watch the games, right? But when you're at home, when you're just thinking about it, you're doing research, it's like the worst thing that we can give our kids. It's like screen time.
I've always said that I would never give my kids screen time. But I guess it's easier said than done.
Way easier said than done.
Because when you're trying to eat dinner, when you're at a restaurant and the kids are screaming crazy, the easiest thing to do is give them the phone.
Yeah, give them the phone, the tablet. And we're creating a culture for our kids that is the same as every other generation. It's just here, give them a tablet, give them a phone, and there you go.
Yeah, because boredom, they say boredom builds creativity, imagination. So, yeah.
Did you grow up with electronics?
I was kind of in the mix. Like I had it, but it was a flip phone. Computers wasn't really what it is today. Actually, we was talking about this at work today.
Okay.
Life without Wi-Fi, right? We was talking about what our favorite shows was growing up. The Rugrats, Jimmy Neutron, Dexter's Laboratory, like all those things. And we was discussing how like shows nowadays has no type of education or stimulation. It's just like brain rot.
Yeah.
You just watch it and just like duh. And then we're wondering why our kids' attention span is so short. And even us adults with the scrolling and all these different things.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
What do you think we're doing wrong?
I think we're not feeding our kids the best thing that we can feed them. Like, think about it, right? We're going to go to Disney. We're like, let's get the snacks. And what's the easiest route for us to get snacks? Oreos, chips. And if you look at all the crap that has, we're already putting in our kids' system stuff that makes you an addict. Because sugar is an addiction. It is. Low-key, high-key. But I feel like if we don't change our eating habits, our kids are going to suffer, especially me, because I should really be on top of what I eat due to all the diagnostics that I've had throughout my life. And I think it's time that we change our eating habits.
Is it diagnostics or diagnosis?
Diagnosis. You're so right. Thank you for correcting me. Exactly.
I think some things we're doing wrong is not gentle parenting. Sometimes we lose our patience and we yell and we scream. And you really should talk to our kids.
Yeah.
Right?
Easier said than done, right?
Easier said than done.
We're
trying to get better.
I practiced that with Jaden. Because the girls, I don't really yell at them. Like, I'll be like, stop it. But like, who I really yell at would have to be our oldest. Just because, I feel like I say things so many times and then it's like, I just told you 3 times and now at the 4th, you're listening to me. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think that they grasp that. I mean, they're just kids. Their attention span is so short. That it's just kids being kids. But again, easier said than done.
Makes sense. Another thing I think is not going outside often.
Yeah.
Right? Having them go outside, get dirty, go and play. Like, we don't do that as much as we should.
Especially because, I'm guilty of this because I didn't grow up like going outside and like playing with friends. Like, I don't really know what that dynamic is about. So I've never, for me to take the kids outside, like, yeah, that's lovely and stuff, but I never grew up like that. Like, it was always like sports or something like that. But to really just go outside and let your kids run around, like, I definitely would like to do that more. I mean, I do it, but not every single day, you know? And I feel like that's something we should definitely change.
Yeah, that makes a big difference. I think the interaction with other kids and just getting dirty and, like, allowing kids to be bored That's really where it comes down to. Our kids don't really play with toys, right? And I think that has a impact on their ability to grow and learn. I think that we need to start doing that more.
Yeah, I agree. But again, easier said than done. Like, it's so hard for us to, especially when we try to start one thing and stay consistent with that. I feel like that's where we kind of have a hiccup, is like understanding how we can stay consistent with certain things, because we'll stay consistent with like eating good, and then we'll go back to, eating junk again. You know what I'm saying? And so I feel like we need to find like a good rhythm to where you and I can work together and set these boundaries. And I don't think that we should do it all at once, because I feel like that's how you fail. I think it's kind of like giving us a task of 1 week, let's try to eat healthy. 1 week, let's try no screens.
Agreed.
See how it goes.
I think it's, like you said, consistency. But, there's a lot of things that we do right, but we can always improve, right? The last thing I want to leave off is one of the next things I think is the biggest things is leading by example. Right? Kind of ties it all together. Right? A lot of the times we expect certain things from our kids, and then we catch us doing it. Right? When we're saying, hey, no snacks after a certain time, and here we are sneaking to try to get a snack, or, just certain habits like reading, expecting our kids to spend time reading. And I'm not taking the time out to read, or sometimes kids, they don't need to hear what they need to do. They need to see you do it for they can follow.
I agree.
Right? So leading by example is a big one.
I agree. I 100% agree. If our kids watch us work out, naturally they're going to want to do that. If our kids see us smoking, they're naturally going to want to smoke. It's what they grow up seeing. You know what I mean?
I mean, we don't smoke, but yeah.
I mean, we don't smoke, but for people, putting it out there.
Drinking, just the habits that you have.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I agree.
100% agree with that.
So those are the things that we feel we're doing wrong. If you have any comments, like, subscribe. We greatly appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much for joining in to Faith, Family, and Laundry.
Thank you for watching.
Welcome.